Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Andrew from SaberSim here, back for our build review show. This is our show where we go over users' builds, giving them specific and personalized advice as to what they can do differently in their contest selection, decisions they're making, adjustments they can make to their process to help them grade out better and build stronger lineups. So excited for today's show. We do the show Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern here. We have 30 people so far signed up to go over. So let's get SaberSim pulled up and let's jump right in here. First person is going to be 50-50 from Discord here. They did ask Friday's turbo slate, it looks like here in the Discord. So don't mind doing that. Going back to Friday. Just probably forget some of the slate context, but it's all good. So first off, let's just see what they're playing. Looks like they're playing a multiple different slates, which is good. I'm not sure, they only have entries on 2 of the slates, but they have a lot of the slates selected. So not 100% sure what's going on there. But for the turbo, let's go and see the contest selection. Okay, so play some GPPs, playing some double ups. First thing is that, we really don't recommend that people play cash games and double ups. If that's part of your contest mix, that's obviously your choice. But really the reason for that is that, DFS projections only get better, and DFS has been around for a little while now. So projections in, 2024 are a lot better than projections were in 2014, right? So the better projections get, the easier it gets to build strong cash lineups where you're just trying to beat half of the field and come in the top 50th percentile there. And what ends up happening is that either one, you're losing to the rake, or if you are winning, you're only turning a very, very small profit. We're talking like, single digit ROI percentages here. In DFS, now the soft money is mostly in GPPs because, people love the concept of turning a little bit of money into a lot of money. So, somebody who has $15, they can either play a double up and make it 30, or they could take a shot and try and win, $100,000, right? And that 100,000 sounds so much more lucrative to a lot of like casual DFS players. So that's where the casual money is, right? Casual money is in GPPs, and your ability to turn a higher ROI percentage, you just have a better chance of making a higher ROI in GPPs than you do in cash games. So we think that your dollars are best served playing GPPs as opposed to cash games. So something to just consider, that's like an additional $30 here of action that you could be getting down in what we perceive to be higher edge contests. So just something to think about there. But meanwhile, let's go and check out the dime time here. See how you did. All right. B Doze 1993 played 20 lineups. Let's go and set a filter for 20. Sort by sim ROI. So this is good, right? Some of the top sim ROIs are like in the 20% range, but you are still grading out, almost positive 13%. You're in this list, top 10 sim ROIers here. So I think this is good. This is a very strong start. Now, as far as differences go, there's nothing glaringly staring out at me, right? Average salary might be a little bit low here, all things considered. Sim ROI looks fine. Dupes look fine. There are some other sets with like lower average sim average scores. Like you have 88.07. Somebody has an 88.96. Somebody has an 89.33. And these sets are still grading out over 20%. So like that's why it's not like, oh, this is like clearly why. I'm kind of interested why you're getting to such low salary lineups though. Not 100% sure why yet. I'll figure that out. But let's go and look at the lineups you played. Well correlated, at least having a 4 stack in every lineup. Took a little bit of a stand on the Cubs. Nothing crazy. Yeah, very, very flat at pitcher. And very, very flat at batter as well. So nothing standing out to me so far. So let's jump into your actual lineups. $49.1, $48.6, $48.8. How many games was on the slate? Okay, so this is only a 4-game slate. So, turbo slate, smaller slate, I think it's okay to end up with lower salary lineups here in general. If this like an 11-game slate or something like I didn't take it upon myself here to check how many games are on this slate. I kind of forgot it was a turbo slate, to be honest. So 4-gamer here, I think it's okay to be a little low on the salary band. So not seeing anything terrible here. And remember, you are still grading out really well right off the bat. But let's keep looking here. Let's see if we can find something. All right. So is on the standard plan. So using Saber Score here. 7 min uniques, 500 lineups. Where does that get you? Okay, I get you to line up 385. So this is one thing I would say probably be a little careful with is that, min uniques, when it comes to Saber Score, you don't have as good of a measuring stick as to how far down in your pool you should go. Like when you have contest sims, you could just say, hey, sim ROI is like my benchmark, and I don't want to play lineups that are less than sim ROI of 0%. I want to play at least positive sim ROI lineups. That's really easy, right? That's really easy to see, to use. But when you're using Saber Score, there isn't like a floor for Saber Score because it's kind of relative to a build, so it doesn't work in the same way. What I would recommend is try and stay in the top 25 to 50% of your pool. So when you're at mini uniques of 7, your last lineup is 385. But when you're at mini unique of 6, your last lineup is 108. I would probably stop at mini unique of 6 to make sure I don't go too far down in my pool where I am, possibly playing lineups that just don't grade out as well, right? So I think that, use that measuring stick in future slates, and that should help you out a little bit here. See if we can get your ROI even a little higher than it already is. And then if you're like, hey, I'm at mini unique of 6, but some of these, exposures are just a little too high. That's okay. Make a couple manual tweaks, right? Handle these on like a manual basis. Like say, hey, I don't want Robert in more than 40%. I'd rather have him in 35. Just make that one adjustment to him. And then look, we go down to lineup 115 instead of dropping like all the way to 375, right? So when you put this extra, rule or burden on all 20 lineups, is a lot different than just changing one individual player at that point. So going to mini unique of 6 and making a few small adjustments in this case where you're using Saber Score is better than going to mini unique of 7 and not having to do that if mini unique of 7 makes you go too far down in your player pool. All right. I think that's actually going to make a big difference here. Also, I'd say that, the aggregate metrics might even be more important for somebody who's on the standard plan. Like add this aggregate metric to show you the average projection across your 20 lineups. And, watch how this changes as you move it up and down, right? So we can just see what the differences are. Pretty interesting the way that it's moving. There might be some minimax exposures here that I got to go check out, but that 6 number still looked like a good number with the 88.8 average projection. All right. Nothing really else on like a player by player level. I see a few projection adjustments. Okay, these are probably just the minimum required here because these look super small. Yeah, just minimal there, so nothing crazy. 2 stacks, 3 stacks, 4 stacks, 5 stacks, game stacks, stack types. Okay, very hands-off approach here. Yeah. So very hands-off approach. Look at this. Like no rules, no adjustments to default settings, no minimax exposures, using min uniques, using Saber score, and grading out positive 13% sim ROI in this contest, right? I'd say here the biggest thing, right, is how far down in your pool you're going. So try and stay in that 25 to 50% range. Add the average projection aggregate metric, and then reconsider playing some of those turbos, some of those cash games, and think about getting into more GPPs. But other than that, pretty solid stuff here. Very happy with what I'm seeing. All right. Now let's get our second person up here on the screen. That's going to be Notes 105 here. And we're going to keep everything rolling. And we're going to jump back. Let's see when the last time Notes played is. So it doesn't look like they played yesterday. 12th, 11th. Huh. Weird. Let's do something. All right. I did see Notes is they dropped their name in the Discord, added their name to the list. See, I am reviewing their slate, but I'm not seeing any entries. So Notes, if you're here, if you're watching, I can't find the last slate that you played. I'm searching through here, going all the way back. I'm almost at like the beginning of August, and I don't see a single slate that is like starred, which when you like upload an entries file, or I'm almost positive even build lineups for a slate, that gets attached to the My Slates, which is mostly what I'm looking for here. So it could be a case where your Discord email address isn't connected to your SaberSim account email address. That does happen sometimes. So if that is the case, shoot me a DM, shoot me a friend request, and let me know what email you're actually using for your SaberSim account, and I can access the right build. That way we can actually review your stuff. So let me know. And then if we end up getting that figured out and after the show, and we could always put you back on the list tomorrow, and I can go back and review, whatever slate was in question. So just a note for you there. But let's keep it rolling. Maybe I'll hear from him. Maybe I won't before the show. And let's go on to our next person, which is going to be Maverick. I believe we reviewed Maverick yesterday. So let's see if Maverick made some adjustments and how those ended up working out on yesterday's slate. All right. So let's get Maverick up on the screen. So it looks like Maverick did play the main slate yesterday, 123 entries. Contest selection looks good here. Solid contest selection. Good balance with the, $1 3 max, $1 single entry here with all these other low stakes contests, like what I'm seeing there. And then let's go and review their lineups for the quarter jukebox. All right. 20 lineups. Let's go and check here. Put a 20 in the filter. Sort by sim ROI. So highest sim ROIs here were in the high teens, like 15 to 20% range. And Maverick had about negative 15% sim ROI. So let's figure out what's going on here and how we can change that. So average salary looks okay. still in the 49K range. Dupes look fine. Biggest thing, right? Sim average score 96.6 with, the highest sets being 111, 106, 109, 109, right? A lot of high sim average scores, but their sim average score is a lot lower. So not 100% sure why yet, but we'll figure it out. All right. Playing at least a 4 stack in every lineup. Pretty flat at the team stack level. Kind of flat at pitcher. Took some shots on like some lower owned pitchers like Zebby Matthews, Eduardo Rodriguez, Kyle Harrison. This is all like leverage, right? These are all like 2 to 3x the players' ownerships, while either like matching or even being a little bit under on some of the highest projected pitchers, right? So this is something we've seen a little bit in some other reviews. I don't remember if it was Mavericks as well, but basically like when people are like fading some of the best projected pitchers, that doesn't seem to end up working out super well. So this could be part of it. Not 100% sure. And then no batter over 25% exposure, which looks fine. So I'm interested to see what they did at the pitcher slot here. So we will take that into account. It looks like for the quarter jukebox, they used build 1. So let's jump into build 1 and see what that's looking like. Okay. All right. Using Saber Score here. Okay. So this is probably another. This is actually going to be really similar to the last person, right? They're using Saber Score here. They're putting mini uniques really high, but because the mini uniques is so high, they're having to go so far down in their pool to get to lineups that are that much different from each other. So I actually think here a big difference again is going to be lowering mini uniques. Let's see what 4 takes us. Okay. And sometimes people ask this, so I'll just clarify. We're looking at like lineup like 521 here, but it says there's only 500 in the pool. So the builder can build up to like 5 to 10% extra lineups here. It doesn't have like a hard cap. It does go over a little bit, but we just only show the top 500. So there are some available extra lineups that you're not looking at. But anyways, I would drop this, right? I would drop mini uniques from 5 down to 4, down to 3, maybe even down to 2 here. Okay, they have to have minimax exposures set because there's no way our last lineup should be 323. So let's go and see where those adjustments are. Okay, so one adjustment to Nestor Cortez. I don't think that's going to do it all by itself. Okay, bumping up Boston a little bit here. Capping Yankees 5 stacks. And the Yankees were like the highest projected run team on the slate. Oh, they set this as a pre-build adjustment as well. So I wonder, we're seeing NYY 7%, 5 stack. We're seeing Boston 13% all. And then we're seeing Nestor 21% max. So these are the only adjustments I've seen here so far. So I wonder what happens if I reset them. Okay, so when I do reset them, we get the top 81 lineups again, right? So then let's add these in one at a time. So it's like, hey, Nestor's like closer to matching his ownership, but they're like, you know what? I want to match the pool on him. I don't hate that decision. Okay, that takes us down to lineup 100. Okay, so not a huge adjustment there. Then we go in and we go find Boston. They're in like 3% of our lineups. Bump them up to their pool exposure. The adjustments that they're making aren't bad because they're using data from the app here to make those decisions. Like I didn't just come up with they didn't just come up with 13, right? They're using the pool exposure, saying, hey, this is like the rate that they were coming up in the Sims. I kind of like them and rather play them at this rate, right? I think that's okay. Then the last one, the Yankees, they capped the Yankees at 7%. So there had to be some other adjustment here that maybe I missed or skipped over, because I added those 3 adjustments back and it got us to line up 179 in our pool, right? And then if I go mini Nix of 2, gets us to 185. If I go mini Nix of 4, 266. This is probably where I would stop here if I was doing this myself, just because, we're about halfway down our pool. I really don't want to go any further than that using Saber Score. And then one thing that I noticed, right, when they had this build in is that, their average projection at mini Nix of 7 was actually really, really low, or maybe it was 6, but I remember seeing like 97 or something like that. But even here, right, mini Nix of 6, average projection 96.3. When I'm at mini Nix of 1, I'm at 101, right? So they're giving up 5 points of projection to get to that diversity, and they're forcing the builder to play lineups that are lower ranked. So I think it's just a combination of a little too many mini Nix with going too far down in your pool, leading to some lineups that you probably don't always want to play, or too many of them showing up toward the top of your pool, right? Or showing up in the lineups that you're actually playing. And, one thing the contest sims have taught me is like not every lineup that gets built is going to grade out well against the field. Like that's why like 50% of your pool gets put into the trash when you run your contest sim, right? I mean, that's kind of why it's like, hey, try and stay in like the top 25 to 50%, basically estimating that the positive ROI lineups are like in that top half. And then there are potential negative ROI lineups in the bottom half that you don't have like an accurate data point for. So it's better to be more cautious than anything. But then, as far as like, hey, I still want to manage exposures, right? So come in here, watch how these exposures change. But even at mini Nix of 1, right? McCarthy, 29%. The 2 players above him are both pitchers, right? King and Blackburn. And this is including those other 3 adjustments we made to Nestor, to the Red Sox, to the Yankees 5 stacks. So just be aware of the impact that your changes are making, but try and play, sets of lineups with a higher average projection across the board. Make sure you're not going too far down in your pool if you're using Saber Score. So like those are going to be the biggest takeaways here. Contest selection was really good. Minor tweaks in the build are totally okay. You were using, data from the pool exposures to make those changes. I thought that was really good. So I think that, you're a lot closer than you think to turning around that sim ROI and getting it into the positive. All right. Good stuff there. Didn't hear back from Notes. I will reach out to them after the show here, but we are all caught up on build reviews. We had 3 people today, got to 2 live here, and then we'll circle back on Notes tomorrow. So appreciate you guys tuning in. We do this show 5 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. If anybody wants their build reviewed on a future show, just drop your DK username in the Office Hours channel in Discord, and I will add you to the queue. But appreciate everybody tuning in. Good luck today in all your DFS contests. And until tomorrow, take care. Good luck. Thanks. Bye.